Hi, in this video, we want to take a look at how to load Excel files into Python. Okay, so for our example, we've got a Python worksheet to work with. Now, this is the 2018-2019 school grades from the Florida Department of Education. Okay, so and you can download this file from the FLDOE if you're interested in it. Why is this an interesting data set? Well, if you own property or if you're renting property or someone who provides for you owns property or rents property, this is important to you and them because wherever you go, the amount you pay is going to ultimately be directly connected to school grades. Now, school grades are pretty much just testing data. There's a little bit of stuff speckled in there that's not, but it's testing data. Okay, the joys of the public school system. All right, so first I want us to take a look at an Excel file. A lot of us are going to be familiar with them. If you haven't been working yet, it's very likely that you have not really dealt with them very much. So the Excel spreadsheets, first of all, they come into sheets. So you'll notice, like here, I have sheet 1, and I have this SG, stands for school grades sheet. We have subsheets of data, and that's going to be important in a moment. And when I look at this data, we haven't really talked about things like this before, but you'll notice that there's a bunch of blanks, then there's a header, then there's the data I'm actually interested in. So what we want to do, we want to take this and we want to get this into Python so that we can do analysis. We can maybe do some visualizations, see which schools are better on certain metrics than others, look at different districts. Let's do, there's lots of ways that we can go about this. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and get into Python. I've already saved this file in my STA 5104 folder. And I'm pressing F9 on my machine to implement a line of code. So here I'm implementing the OS library. And now I'm just changing my path directory to where I have the file stored. And then it's going down, pressing F9. Remember, the double hash is how I comment out, so that way when I look back at it, I know what's going on. Now I'm going to pull in the pandas data library of functions. This way I get everything that's in pandas active. Now here, I want to pull in the data. Okay. Now remember, a moment ago I told you that there were sheets. Here I'm not specifying what sheet that I want. So here we've got two different sheets. We have SG and we have sheet 1. What Python will do by default, it'll grab the first sheet that's present. Okay, so now let's take a look. Let's see what happened. That doesn't make sense. I've got district number on row 3, percent of economically disadvantaged students. On row 3, the second column. What is going on here? Let's take a look. Well, what Python did, it read this row as being the header. Then it came down 1, 2, 3, 4. So what it did, it skipped the blank row, then said that made this into row 1, this into row 2, and this into row 3, and then so on. Okay, so this is not what we want. What should I do? So something to notice. First and foremost, it skipped the blank rows. In general, that's what we want. If that's not what we want, then you can go in and change the parameters manually. All right, so how do I handle this? Well, step 1 is I panic. After I'm done panicking, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell it to skip rows. F9, 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 F9. All right, so if I look here, I'm just setting skip rows equals 4. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and put an IO, because that's the parameter's name. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, so you'll notice also something that I'm doing. In my previous videos, to keep it a little bit simpler, I did not name the parameter. And so I just put the first one was a file path, and then I just kept on going. All right, my opinion, and I've heard people disagree with me, but my opinion is that you should always name your parameters whenever you're coding. This way, when 6 months from now, when you're looking at your code, you're like, what is that? Why is there a 4 here? What is that for? Is that for number of rows, skipping rows? Is it some kind of other parameter? I don't know. It's very clear and obvious that the skip rows is set to 4. So a lot of people, to make code faster and easier to write, they don't put down what the parameter is. I always do it because I find that this makes it so much easier to read in the future. It makes it easier for other people to read your code because they don't have to look up the help documentation. Okay, so let's do this. All right, so it read it in. And hit F9, let's see what happens. All right, so now I've got district number, percent of economically disadvantaged students, and then it goes on from there. Okay, well, that worked out. So now let's think about those sub worksheets that we've got going on. In this case, there's only one, so it's not an issue, but down the road, it will be an issue. It will come up. So if I want to read a specific worksheet within an Excel file, I've got 2 options. Either I can give the number, that's the first option. Second option is to give the name. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, I'm doing the number option. I put down a 0. Whoa, 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 we're going for first, right? Okay, for first, remember, Python does this wonky thing that starts at 0. It doesn't start at 1, it starts at 0. As long as we remember it, it doesn't really matter, but if you forget it, it'll screw you up. So here, notice that the first row is 0. The second row is 1. And then 2, 3, 4, and so on. Like, oh, well, that's interesting. Everything's 1 off. I would personally like it to have first row be number 1, but whatever. It is what it is. All right, so I'm going to go sheet name equals 0, hit F9 after I have it highlighted. And let's take a look. Did it load correctly? Boom, we got it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm getting emotional about this. This is so exciting. All right, so now let's do it the other way. Double check to make sure that it loaded. All right, so now something I want to point out is you see that I put quotations around the sheet name. If I didn't do that, Python would interpret SG as a variable and would go looking for a variable called SG. And it will cause a problem because I don't have a variable called SG. I need to actually put the string in there. Another thing to notice, a lot of times you can use either this symbol, like you can either use apostrophes or you can use quotations. So apostrophes, quotations. Usually, in general, either way will work. I found that generally it's better to go with quotations when we do our character strings. So just like how I have it here. I strongly recommend that if you're going to be working with data, get into the habit of using quotations because there's more things that involve apostrophes. Like a single apostrophe has a mathematical meaning to it. So if you're working in data and you're doing something mathematical, you might be doing this for one thing, or you might be doing it for character strings. We don't know which one it is down the road. So in general, we want to use quotations. And then if for some reason I need quotations in a character string, then I go with apostrophes and everything will work out just fine. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope this helps you out. And I hope you have a great day.